Thank you for being here with us today. It's a pleasure. My name is Sana. I started with Alenia since the beginning of the year. I'm a team leader of two support team, 24/7 support team and level 2 support team. And my whole team are based in India. And I have over 9 years experience in investment management as a support front office developer and all this IT role. So the topic today will be what if the production support was your dream job. So the session will last 45 minutes and we will have 4 parts. And in the end, if we will have time, we can take your questions. The world of IT is undergoing significant changes thanks to technological development, thanks also to the technological use. So it leads to a high demand for technological expertise. However, the supply falls and it's resulting to a competitive market. So, in this context of tight recruitment for IT professions, the production support sector is no exception. And also, production sector is facing a negative perception. Why? So, first, because the support application is poorly recognized in academic institutions, in universities, and in schools. It is it's not fairly taught and discussed. Also, because it is demanding, requiring a high level of availability and punctuality. And also, it is a stressful role. So, therefore, it is a highly specialized profession. So our mission is to improve the image of production support and to promote the value of support roles to make it a lever for designing new careers. So today, I'm delighted to have with me 4 experts, 4 specialists in production support, and we will share their insights on the significance and the beauty of what this profession can bring to company. So maybe I will start in the part 1 with you, Mikael. So in your actual role, or maybe we can start by a quick presentation of you all before starting the questions. I think it's better.
Yeah. So hello, Mikael. So I'm the operational support team leader on the sales perimeter at Crédit Agricole CIB. So before working on support, I was developer during 20 years. So my team is based in Singapore, and its activities mainly focus on the biggest application on our scope. So it is an application dedicated to monitor the sales performance. So we have around 500 users with different profiles, and we are providing support across 3 geographic areas. So that's it.
Thank you, Mikael. So my question for you is, when you are hiring support candidates, what are the skills needed to work in this role? The role of production support?
Yes, so we have, let's say, basis requirement in terms of knowledge. So for example, we are working in finance. So it means the candidate has to have some knowledge on finance. For sure, we are working in international context. So it means this person has to be fluent in English. So it means when we are hiring someone in French, we are switching during the interview into English, just to understand if this person is able to, let's say, to speak clearly English. So that's, let's say, the first point. The second point will be the technical point of view. So it's better if the candidate has some technical knowledge. So it could be database, it could be Java. So it's not, let's say, the first item we are searching, but let's say yes, it can help. After what I'm looking for, someone southful, so it means support is a stressful environment. So there is a fire every time. So we need to have someone who is calm and for sure, with focus on its objective. So that's something which is easy, let's say, to detect during the interview. So,
sorry, Mikael, but
yeah.
how you detect this in the interview?
So after the different, let's say, skills, you will understand. So the next one is social, because we are support. So it means we have to interact with many teams, with many people. So it means we have to create relationships between different teams. So it could be production, it could be also our users, and other, for sure, other IT teams, so other support, build teams. So it's important. The person has to be comfortable to communicate with other teammates. The curiosity, which is important also, because what I'm waiting for from my teammates is not just to solve a problem, but just also to understand if there is something hidden behind an issue. So it means perhaps there is something else behind the request, behind the incident. And for me, it is important to have someone who is curious just to understand what's going on. So another point is to be pugnacious. So because support, it's not easy. We have to chase people. We have to find answer. And when we are working with different teams, sometimes it is hard. And the aim is to have someone who will not give up when you will face its first difficulties. So for me, when you, during a meeting, during the interview, you do not have an exchange with the candidate, so for me, it's not good. So it means...
The communication.
Yes. If you have exchange, so you are just describing one part of your scope, if he's raising question, so it means that's a good point. So it means he's interesting, he's curious, so okay, let's see what's going on. And for sure, if he's able, let's say, to communicate, okay, to exchange on some particular point regarding, let's say, the description we have done, or regarding his experience. So it means for the communication, it seems to be okay.
Okay, thank you. And I think I agree with you, because the soft skills are very important in a support application role, a part of the technical, of course. And I have a question for you, Amaya. I will let you introduce yourself, and then you tell me what are, the innovative tactics deployed by your company to recruit applicative support talent.
Okay, I'm Amaya Alberdi. I'm Puerto Rican and Spanish. I've worked in IT since I finished college, and I've been doing all kinds of activities, but production gives me something that other testing, development is not the same. Not the adrenaline when you're working with real time, for me, is the best. So if I can, I'll keep working on production, even though the 24/7 sucks. And for the recruiting, I think the main problem that we have, and it's only not only Santander, but most banks now, is that young people feel like they want to work for Google, PlayStation, TikTok, And they don't think of a bank as an IT company. And I do think we're an IT company. We have a lot of money that we can invest in technology. So they really have a possibility of developing a technical career in a bank, in the banking industry. What Santander does, everything now, we don't have a production specialist branch, but we have BTech with Santander, trying to make people aware that we are technicians, no? Or we have a lot of technicians beside the business, obviously. And in this, we go to university talks, we do events, we participate in different organized activities by other companies that are specialized in recruiting talent. And one of the main initiatives that worked for a while, a couple of years ago, and was really good, we call it IT Talent. And it was the people started and were doing like a minor for 6 months in 4 different departments during 2 years. And at the end of those 2 years, they stayed in the company. They really liked so it was like a long scholarship. And that was the people that got in with that initiative was really good. And actually, since they saw so many different aspects of the bank, they chose where they wanted to be, and they were really quite useful from the beginning. And now CIB has started the talent corridors, and it sounds great. Let's see how it goes. No, it's really good.
And when you go to the universities, because it's good to hire people directly, freshly graduated, and when you speak about the support, is it a job that they know, or you have always to explain what is support, what is production support?
No, actually, it's what you say. You don't study production, you don't study the maintenance of the software that you develop, you just study software, you just study infrastructure. So it's kind of also saying that, it's what I say, for me, it's the greatest job because of it's like when you're programming and you're trying to compile, so that's your day-to-day, no? It's really, but it's true that they don't even know about it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Amaya. So in the part 2, we will speak about the recruitment of resources application support for internal point of view. So the companies may fall short inadequately supporting the career of their employees in support roles, potentially due to insufficient training opportunities and limited avenue sometimes for acquiring new skills. So maybe my question is for you, Pauline. What are the benefits of working in application support over the long term? And you can, of course, introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you. So I'm working in Société Générale, and I manage IT teams, both support and development. And so actually, I started my career as doing production support, still in the same company. And I think I learned a lot over there, and in every role I had after, so I did some project management, business analyst, and I was also on the business side as a business manager. And then even now as a manager, I still use a lot everything I learned on the production side and the support, because I think the way we are working, at least in investment banks, the IT system is fully customized. So we have specific needs, we build specific solutions, and it's never the same. And the result is that it's very complex. And the fact that you are embedded in the day-to-day, the production, how applications are starting, not starting, working, what is the problem, how do we do the release, what are the network issues, and etc. Everything that can happen and causing problems, once you are involved in that, for every role after, you have a better visibility on what everything can go wrong and how make things better or better working. So I think that's important for everyone projecting in a career in IT of investment banks, at least, to have this experience on the support side, because you really understand how things in the end are operated and working or not working.
Is it something that you understood in the beginning when you start with the support, or after years spending
like I think my personal experience is that it's that complex that you cannot just do like 3 months and say, okay, it's complex and I leave it aside. And yeah, you need to also master a little bit the job to be autonomous and know how things can get working and what are the workarounds and what is acceptable or not. Different crises to really learn and get benefits from this experience. So I guess it can be also a tiring job because it's stressful, as Mikael said. And so maybe you need to not do that for 25 years, but it's every year that you spend in there, it's very useful for after.
For the year after.
for your career after, yeah.
Of course. I'm back to you again, Amaya. How do you measure and evaluate the performance of employees working in application supports?
By default in our company, we measure by the what, the how, and the risk. And I think that the what is easy, you can measure it, you can quantify it. For support, it can be the MTTR, the stock of incidents, the inflow, the outflow. But I think we should give more importance to the other two, the risk, because in support, you're practically able to throw the bank down, no? So and the kind of information that you have access to. So it's really, that's for me really important. And then for the how, we have we have more behaviors, but 3 of them I think are critical. One is think customer. And the support team is the one that is next to the client. That's the first one that knows the business and have to talk to them, they have to explain to them what's working and what's not. And then you have to use non-IT terms for an IT problem. So I think it takes a lot of effort, and also it's always in an awful situation because everybody's nervous when you have to talk to them. And we try to measure that in the escalation. So when the business is not escalating, it's because the support team is really good. No, it's keeping them down. And then we also have the move together. And as you were saying, you have to work with so many teams that we don't need, it's a sport team, but we don't need Michael Jordans, though I loved Michael Jordan. But we don't need stars. We need people that can really talk to one another and understand the problems that the infrastructure guy has, the development guy, and not try blaming each other, because it's so difficult to triage the problem that you always think it's someone else, because you really think it's not yours. No, but so that would be and that's what I did with my team.
Okay, but I don't know if also you measure this by the number, for example, of the ticket that someone from support is managing. Is it something that you are looking or?
For the move together, what I did was checking how many bouncing the ticket had, because if you're bouncing, you're not talking to each other. No, it's and also we have a 360 between us. So if you get a good review from your peers, your peers, the ones that you're working with at your worst, no, when there's really a problem, that's what gave the feedback, or the feedback that I value most.
Interesting. Thank you, Amaya. We can move to the part 3, is how we build a career in application support. And here it's a question for you, Heather. How can application support help women building strong career in IT? And I will let you also introduce yourself.
So hi, I'm Heather. Excuse my voice, I'm just recovering from a cold. But I work at BNP Paribas, and I've been there for almost 7 years, and I'm now responsible for the Global Market CTO office. I have a bit of a weird trajectory, so I did not study IT. So I joined application support after a big career change. So I went from a job where I was a postdoctoral researcher working in cardiovascular genetics and bioinformatics. Finished that job on the Friday. On the Monday, I was immersed on the trading floor in equities and derivatives. Blinking lights, alerts everywhere, noise, completely different world. But as the days were going by, I realized one thing. I'm exposed to so many things. I'm exposed to everything pretty much in IT. And that's where the magic happens. So I can learn a lot, and it's where you can learn hands-on and be, you know, in a job. But one important thing also is creating IT business relationships and learning how to nurture them. So that for me was an opportunity to create myself with this wealthy portfolio of IT skills. They opened the doors subsequently to promotions and to progressing in the organization. As a woman, I was also immersed in a very male-dominated environment, so a double immersion. Bit of a shock when I arrived there. I mean, it wasn't new. Everything I've done, even in my previous role, in, you know, in statistical genetics, it tended to be quite male-dominated, and it also things that I do in extra-professional activities. But that came with challenges, and those challenges helped me embrace, you know, who I am, and also develop on who I am, and being a little bit more assertive. Because at the end of the day, I know that I can bring something to the table. I'm not different from anyone, whether it's male or female. So that's, I guess, what it gave to me. To me, it was the perfect opening to a world in IT.
Perfect. Thanks, Heather. I will ask you again, Amaya. So how do you promote diversity and inclusion in the support team?
Okay, since, I mean, first of all, I'm not fully Spanish or 100% Spanish, so I really appreciate the riqueza, what other culture provides. Like, I compare my house to my friend's house when I was small, and it was different because my mother spoke differently. She had a weird accent, a funny accent. We had toys that people didn't have. So I'm pro diversity, not only male, female. Obviously, I want the people to forget that there was ever a glass ceiling. No? So I'm pro equality, but it's not only male, female, but nationality gives you a lot of perspective, different ages. I love working with people that are my daughter's age, because even sometimes when she doesn't tell me something, like she was saying something about RT, and I was like, real time? What do you mean about real time? And she's like, no, retweet. I'm just like, so my colleagues would tell me, and it would make me nice with my teen, well, not anymore teenagers, no, with my kids, and so I think that's great. And the thing that in Santander we're doing now, they call it digital volunteer, and we work with companies that try to create spaces for people with different discapacities. And we work with autism, and it was really good because actually they have a capacity for IT, or at least the people that we work with, and we're really good. And they made us also conscious of other problems that there are and other ways of working. We also have some Down syndromes for repetitive tasks when we do renoves, and that's also good. And also, I would not have never thought that they could be involved in a production system, because you think that the velocity is not compatible with their problems, so it's really good. And now also worldwide, we have started working with a tech hub in Ghana. It's a company that creates a space for the people in Ghana to be able to remote work with big companies, so they don't have to leave the country. So they keep the talent with them. And we are working with this guy, he's 21, and everything is going great. No? So we have started 6 months ago, but it's really, even the way he dresses is totally different, so many colors. So I think it's great. The other day I was reading, and it was a sentence that I think it's more or less the summary of this is our similarities connect us, but it's our difference that challenge us. No? So I think that for the work, we really need this challenge, no? And mainly for production, you have to really think out of the box. So it's
interesting. Thank you, Amaya. We will move to the part 4. So how we improve the recognition of the support. So the perception of employees in support roles as task performers rather than value creators is a common but limiting perspective in many organizations where support employees are valued for their contribution beyond routine tasks. So, Mikael, my question for you is, how do you integrate new technologies to improve application support work?
In fact, we have two cases for support. So it means your application is updated or it is requesting involvement. So it means it is an opportunity for support just to understand if there is something to improve. So it could be in terms of technical or in terms of workflow. So for me, every time that there is a change, so it means, okay, we are talking about new technologies, but in fact, from support perspective, it is just we have an opportunity because there is something new. So we have to dedicate some time, let's say, to analyze what is this technology, what we can, let's say, build with this from support point of view. So in my case, hopefully I'm close from my development team and also the architecture team. So sometimes we are also requesting from them to have small training. And for sure, what I try to push, it is, let's say, to give the opportunity of one of my teammates, let's say, to study, and after to do a training session to the whole team. So it means it is a way to let grow teammates on, let's say, some technical point of view, where most part of the time it should not be the support. But it is a way to let's say, grow the different teammates.
And I think it's a chance that you manage also the development team, because sometimes the support team are completely...
I'm not managing.
No,
but
because you said you are asking the development team, but they are
Yes.
not under your responsibility, no? It's a different team.
No.
Okay. Because
No,
I said
but-
it's magic if you have
No,
development and
we have
also support.
good relationships between the development team. So I mean, the pure developer, the business analyst, and also we have the architecture team, which is just a side of us. So and when we are asking to people, they are ready to help. So that's why we just have to ask, but we have to ask.
And it's important because if they help, so you can also help. So if they get trained, so it will be they will be more efficient because they will have a lot of more technical knowledge transfer. So in the support, it can help the team.
Yes, and exchanges with the build team also, it is an opportunity to show them the production, because most part of the time we have the development team, they do not really care about the production. So sometimes it is also fine to exchange and also to share our constraint with them, because on a lot of projects, support teams are not involved. So it means we are, let's say...
Discovering...
we are discovering, yes. So we are trying to anticipate the deployment, so it means just to be able to manage in the best way the support of those new applications.
Okay, thank you. So, Heather, to finish, and because this is about creating references, what person with a scientific or technological career is for you a reference, and why?
That's an easy one for me. I've been exposed to IT since I was a little kid, and that's my father. He's a self-taught IT professional, been doing that for over 40 years. Everything he knows, he taught himself, and I think that also showed me that anyone can do it. You know, it's there. If you want it, you can go grab it. And I think that the best anecdote I have is him giving me this HTML book. I think it was HTML4 at the time. It's a long time ago. To be honest, I think he really wanted an app, so he gave me this book. I said, yeah. Just go and have a look, have a read, and we'll see what you've done, we'll have a look together, because we're always doing things together. And I think that really showed me, the hands-on and seeing that I can create things with IT has always pushed me to learn more about it. Being a bit of a geek also helped, but I don't know, it's a bit of a chicken and an egg situation. I don't know whether that made me a geek or the other way around. Anyway, so to me, this is a bit of a paradox, because this was in an era where we didn't have computers at school, at least not where I'm from Malta. At that age, computers was, something that maybe you had at home, and to me, it was quite valuable. Nowadays, everyone is exposed to it from day one. Everyone knows about IT. Everyone hears about IT, especially now with AI, every single day. Yeah, it's so difficult to recruit people coming into this profession. So this is something that I have not yet been able to answer. But it's always a good idea, like, all these programs that are happening, taking people out of schools and creating these training corridors. But I think it goes even beyond that, young age, making them sensible from a very young age that this could be a career. So, yeah, this all started with my father for me.
Good. Thanks you, Heather. So I think we have still time for some questions, maybe. Asmai, do we still have some questions? So if you have questions to ask, I think we still have a few minutes. Otherwise, if you have questions, I can ask with the mic. Okay, good. Ooh. Okay, do you want to start with this one? How to make production support more sexy? Who want to answer?
Okay. This is like, everybody, when you are small, you want to be a firefighter, no? It's typical. So for IT, we're firefighters, no? Maybe that's also why, it's a man, or it used to be a man, no? But it's not so dangerous, so it could be one aspect of looking at it.
Okay.
The emphasis enough on the fact that if you want to face the business from IT on a daily perspective, actually, I don't think there's any other job there. From an IT perspective, you get the business analyst, but it's a bit different. But developer, infrastructure, whatever, they're not facing the IT. I think it's fine.
There's a need for a change in mindset and to put forward more the added value of support. And that, as you were saying, it's in IT production that you get that relationship with the business. And I think that needs to be put forward a lot more and needs to be put more on a pedestal, because we do have our added value on the production, and that needs to be shown.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Okay. In your opinion, what would be a priority for a support recruit? Mindset, personality, or skills?
Mais ça marche. So I think, as I was saying, it's a position where you learn a lot. So I wouldn't care that much about skills, but mindset and personality is important. So the goal of the support is to be service-oriented, so someone willing to help and willing to learn. It's really the key aspect to be successful in the role. And also, so as you said, Mikael, curiosity and maybe transparency as well, because during crisis you prefer someone that is sharing the problems instead of hiding it. But definitely mindset.
Very interesting testimony about the challenging job of applicative support, the large spectrum of skills it's requiring on both soft and hard. Well, what's the question? Okay, good to know. Thank you. It's helping me. So I think I will move to a question. Can you change the mindset of support teams moving from IT for IT to business oriented? So someone from IT that moves to
Yes, for
the
sure.
business? Yeah.
I'm the proof.
I know, that's why I'm looking to you.
So yes, and also the role of support has also changed. So at first we were just requesting from people, let's say, to manage ticketing activity, and more we are requesting to do something else. So ticketing is just a part of the job from the support team. But yes, we need also to raise concern to our business, to be, let's say, in relationships with the different team. So it means it is we are changing the paradigm of what is the support, and I think it is what we can call moving from IT to business oriented.
Thank you, Mikael. So I don't know if it's the last question.
No, Mary.
Thank you. 50% of women in French engineering school, and this percentage is reducing. What do you think should be done to change this paradigm? Okay.
What you were saying.
That's what I was saying, that it needs to come before schools. It needs to come from a much younger age, I think, because given that IT now is so much around us, we do take it for granted. So I do think we need that sensitization as to, you can actually do this. This is a career. And it needs to come, I think, way before, the level of engineering schools and a much younger age, like in young schools, like primary schools, secondary schools.
Is production support the job of tomorrow with cloud and microservice applications?
I think there's always have to be someone between IT and the user, no? And it doesn't matter. It's at the end, technology does wonders, but there's always a part that has to be human, no? And I think that's the human for us, no? The production support. Really, with the chat now, you do code, no? And you do reading of logs, and you do a lot of things, but you don't talk to anyone. Only the typical questions for human resources are really repetitive, but not soothing down, no?
Thank you all. Thank you for presence. Thank you for your answers, for your time. It's a pleasure for us, for Alenia, to have you all. Don't hesitate to answer to the survey. Asma remind me. Thank you. And that's all.